Hello to everyone. The Defense Department says the FCC's approval of Ligado's petition to use satellite spectrum for 5G will destroy GPS, even as major players like Verizon and AT&T are rushing to roll out 5G. A little-known company is looking to build its own alternative network using the next-generation wireless technology with the intent to connect the various devices in our lives. With so much hype around 5G, you'd expect a red carpet for this initiative. But the company, Ligado Networks, has run into some high-profile opposition, the U.S. Defense Department. This is just the latest in a long-running saga over the idea of an alternative cellular network. Ligado, a wireless satellite venture known previously as LightSquared, has been working for nearly 2 decades to deploy its wireless spectrum, originally earmarked for satellite services, to help telecom companies deliver next-generation wireless offerings. The key to Ligado's plan is its swath of so-called mid-band wireless spectrum. Mid-band spectrum is considered important for 5G deployments because it offers an attractive mix of both geographic coverage and high speeds, making it a critical component of the U.S. strategy to win the 5G race. T-Mobile jumped through 2 years of hoops to buy Sprint and its stash of mid-band spectrum. An alternative network would give businesses another option outside of the major players, such as Verizon Wireless, AT&T and T-Mobile, when connecting their devices. Another new entrant, Dish Networks, is in the middle of building its own brand new 5G network. The next-generation technology is poised to change our lives with a significant boost in speed, coverage and responsiveness. Not only will 5G lead to better speeds on our phones, but it'll also eventually power new technologies like self-driving cars and more precise telemedicine. Ligado plans to meld satellite communication with an on-the-ground 5G network to build a smart device network specifically geared for industries like manufacturing, agriculture, commercial transportation and utilities. That sounds promising, but Ligado's plan hasn't been without controversy. That's because the licenses Ligado owns reside next to spectrum used for GPS navigation. In order to lessen the chances of interference, the Federal Communications Commission put hefty restrictions on Ligado's use of the spectrum, limiting its power output by more than 99% and placing so-called buffer zones around it. While the restrictions were enough to satisfy much of the commercial GPS industry, they haven't satisfied everyone, most notably the Department of Defense, which relies on GPS to coordinate tactical operations, launch spacecraft, track threats and facilitate air and sea travel. Now the Pentagon is pushing back against the FCC's decision last month to let Ligado repurpose satellite spectrum licenses it already owns to build a new 5G network. Department of Defense officials went to Capitol Hill last week to voice their concerns that the new terrestrial network would interfere with military and civilian GPS systems, jeopardizing national security and public safety. The FCC's decision will disrupt the daily lives and commerce of millions of Americans and inject unacceptable risk into systems that are critical for emergency response, aviation and missile defense, Secretary of Defense Mark Esper wrote in a Wall Street Journal op-ed published on May 5.